Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Another trading week. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Wavy. We can peek again at Amazon after we get through the indices. Yeah, China, a big miss in their numbers. Wheat is soaring after India cutting off more exports. Empire State Manufacturing Index was incredibly ugly. I have that up on the screen now, coming in at minus 11.6. First forecast is 17. Horrible numbers. Hey, Waka Waka. You're still with a Black Monday. Well, we'd have to trigger some reversal patterns first, which there are still. I had to update the levels. Uh, NY Fed's Williams' number one issue is inflation is running far too high and persistently, so the goal is to get economy back in balance. Thank you for posting that because Williams, I was going to mention, is speaking while we're doing the live stream. Why are they speaking during my live stream? Don't they coordinate this with me? Thank you. If you see anything else, let me know. But since I can't monitor everything while I am doing the live stream, good morning, Sashi. Good morning, Jacob. Consider this mad news has shocked the market still up because you're focused on the micro headlines instead of the patterns and the price action. You got to learn. That's why you can't trade headlines. You can't. It'll destroy you long-term trading because what you think is bearish can still be a bullish reaction. What you think is bullish can be a bearish reaction. And you still have to trade what's going on in the market. And Wavy with the real-time updates, New York Fed Williams. It's a challenging task, but we're committed to doing it. They're not backing down on the inflation fight. You heard it posted by Wavy right here. It's why you tune in every morning. Thank you for everybody posting this stuff. It's wonderful to see that. I'm just happy. I'm happy with all the members here, all the wonderful support, and posting this information for everybody to see and sharing also information on Discord. By the way, this is creeping up again a bit more with the 75 basis points. Again, I'm watching for it to really start creeping up to see what happens. Remember, we are still in negative gamma territory. I keep pointing that out because you can get the exaggerated moves up and down. And by the way, speaking of exaggerated moves, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and ringing that bell. Thank you for the extra comments. And please, if you're not already, please take that extra 30 seconds of your day and leave a comment on the videos. Just help us get more people in here because there are going to get a lot of people hurt in these markets longer term. We will get another downturn. And the diamond hands, oh boy, I don't want to be diamond hands. There's a point till you have to learn to cut stuff. Even the best positions can turn. Even the stuff you're most bullish on can turn. So you have to manage your risk. You have to cut your positions, and you can always reestablish a position. But just saying, I'm not selling no matter what is a recipe for long-term disaster in certain markets. You see the earnings, nothing major that I'm looking at this morning. So just wanted to put that up for the point of completeness so nobody's caught off guard. And hopefully you're not caught off guard. Oh, I'll have to check in on Weber. I have a couple Weber grills. So where do we stand now? Last night, after yesterday's live stream, coming up, finishing the final target on the double bottom. We got that little push up, then the sell off. Look at that nice little target area. That's completed. Pulling back, I had to update the, let me switch cameras, by the way. There we go. I had to update the double targets because it was here, but this is still the same side of the leg. So the double target still with conservative at this point. And on a close below 395.75. If it gets momentum, I'll trade the momentum. If not momentum, if it's dribbling down, I'll watch for a break and then a retest and a rollover. Then it would be 39.45, 39.30, 39.15. What's interesting, if you went all the way down and we closed down at this levels, it would trigger below the 62.5, and we all know what that means. That means we look to retest the 38.78 area to the lows. So, but until that happens, we actually have the first cross of the 4-hour rotation zone. So I'm watching to see if that holds about 39.88. Then I will start watching for that breakdown level to the upside. Remember, we already completed those double targets. So at this point, what do we need to do? We just need to use harmonic targets, and we're still not into a clear path up here. We still have a lot of stopping points. We have the 50 on the 50 EMA on the 4-hour basis, and look at all these stopping points. Now, you do get into an advanced clear path up here. So once we start getting above about 40, 46, then I'm start watching for that clear path, but we still have a lot of stopping points, so there could be choppier upside price action unless we get some momentum bars. So what does this mean? Just checking back in the daily, we have cycles turning up, not yet at a top, and stalling out against the daily rotation zone. So there could be a lot of stuff to chew through. Even if we do go choppy to slightly up, there's a lot of overhead resistance still in here. And from a weekly perspective, what I touched on, we're trying to get the cycles to turn up. But even on a bigger rally, just keep in mind it's going against the weekly rotation zone, so it would just be a short-term pop play. Let's see, where do we sit here? Sashi, inflation, famine in play due to food shortage and diesel oil shortage. Perfect time to enter. Next run down that can be the great flush. Wow, I'm watching. Again, we're in tactical trading mode. Longer term, I am bearish, but cycle's still turning up on the potential bullish side. So we shall see. Markets in a very interesting situation. No wonder I'm seeing little drops in the market is due to Fed talking. Anyone watching ex-Fed Bernanke was very good interview on CB, said Fed base rate is likely at 3%. So even past Fed, yeah, I saw he was speaking. I did not hear what he said. Thank you for putting that in. How long can we be in negative gamma? Remember, option expiration also this week. Let me call that back up because I want you to focus on something. Do not get lost because we also have option expiration. This will be a big roll-off and repositioning of larger term put spreads. Also, remember, your strike, we're slightly above it, but you have 4,000 being a major strike for gamma this week, both call and put gamma. So you could see by the end of the week, even if we're chopping up and then drift back down here, we could see some interesting price action, and then a new longer term gamma things will be set up with this option expiration. So it will shift slightly next week. So it'll probably shift closer to a neutral gamma, but then if the sell-off continues, it'll go into negative gamma again. Where do we sit? VIX doesn't want to come down. Let's peek at the VIX real quick. Stalling right here at the second target. Again, we have this double that triggered. I'm still watching to see if it breaks down. So 28.68. If we start breaking down, then I'll get into slightly more bullish mode, but it really has to start breaking down. It's being stubborn right now. 27.58, 26.62. Do not ignore it. Again, you trade what's happening, not what you think should happen. Thank you for post. So I cannot be bullish even short term yet. You can be bullish. We've completed though. We completed in the S&P. We completed the double bottom pattern. The NASDAQ. We've got to the first and second. Now, it does not have a solid reversal pattern. Okay, and we're still not at that final target. So where would I be watching? If we start breaking down about 12,288, that's key for me. Then I'm going to be watching longer term to retest the 50, about 12,092 to 13,000. And then the major line in the sand is 11,992.75 on a closing basis. So that's the area I'm watching. On a rotation back up for this morning, 12,395. Again, this hasn't completed the pattern to the upside, so there is still room to run. It doesn't have to do it today also, because this could still pull back to the breakout level and the 50% of this run up and then make another push through the end of the week because it hasn't completed the pattern. So just keep an eye. It would need a close back below the 62.5 to invalidate the rest of it. 12,547. Now I'm watching, as I said yesterday, is 12,000 about 526 to 12,547. Why is that key area? Because this is where there's major resistance right in front of that topping area. On any pullback, you see the 4-hour rotation zone right in front of this 12 to 28 area. So I'm watching 4 key support on the open right there. And even with this push up, you can see this major resistance on the daily. And then the other problem is you have this advanced clear path move. It's a little sloppy right here, but you have the breakdown zone right here above here, right at that final target. So there's still a lot of upside resistance. Now, can this slightly move up and stay choppy and get those cycles like on the daily to continue up and then roll over again? Sure. And you see here, we're against the daily rotation zone. And generally, we do get a little reaction on the first push to a daily rotation zone. We do get a slight pullback. And then if it's going to go higher, breaking above today's high, or last night's high, I should call it, gets us into the daily rotation zone for that minor push higher. Thank you, Ramsafal. Thank you for the super chat. That gets the week off to a fantastic start. Thank you so much. Again, big shout out, everyone. Ramsafal with the super chat, helping to support the channel, which is a donation model. That's the way I'm setting it up, because if you get value from it, then you can donate what you think it's worth to you. Bigger traders can donate more. Smaller traders can donate less. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to keep the thing going. Yeah, but we're dealing with Powell. We are dealing with Powell. What do you see? Where are you seeing the Fed talk? Well, we have Powell speaking also on, what is it, Wednesday? We have Powell speaking. So there, oops, wrong thing. We have no more Fed speaks today. But remember, where do we sit? We have Harker speaking tomorrow. We have, and Powell is tomorrow and Evans is tomorrow. So tomorrow we could get some very interesting price action. And we do have retail sales, and we have Bullard right in the morning at the hour before the live stream. So tomorrow is going to be very interesting also. Good morning. It was fine. It was a fine B-Day. Can't say it was great, but it was fine. Your SPY targets. Let me get through a couple more things, then we'll get to the SPYs and the Qs. By the way, just Dow, we do have a potential double top that is still in place. That key target is 31,778. Remember, there was no double bottom on the Dow. What I'm doing now is raising these harmonics with a little bigger pullback, corresponding to the significant level here. My brain's working a little slow this morning. The key area, 31,778. Then we're back to 31,564, 31,461, 31,355. That would be very bearish if this triggers, because even the first target's right at the 62.5. So I'm really keeping an eye. Remember that Dallas was the weakest so far on the bounce back move. If we're getting above 32,261, then I'm really targeting this 32,401. That's my first major target, then about 32,535. And you see that just takes us into the daily rotation zone. And also we have tapped that daily rotation zone. So I'm going to be watching for that breakout play, not necessarily today if we do pull back slightly, but tomorrow or Wednesday on the next push up for the bigger pattern before we roll over the tops again. Russell, just for the point of completeness now, it's confirmed but not yet triggered. Russell also is one of the weakest ones, so I'm not looking for much on rally plays in the Russell, not really participating, watching more for breakdown plays. 1771.9, then 1758, 1750, and 1743. Let's check in on the spiders. The spiders, which that never got triggered. Area, remember, key area you're watching for this gap fill for the spider, sorry, missed that close there, would be 396.44 area on a closing basis. And I'd more target the 1 hour, 15 minute to 1 hour. Then I'd be targeting the gap fill. Other than that, if you want to trade around levels, if this stays in consolidation, I'd be watching for pullbacks about 398.16 to 398.65. And for a breakout play, if we do break above, and this isn't just for today, but if we do break above 403, this high of 403.18, then you're going to want to use the harmonics. And remember, you still have a gap back from the 6th of May. So 405.43, 407.69. The Qs, we still have the double. Even on this pullback, I mean, this could theoretically still pull back to 295.68 and keep this pattern well in place. All right. So don't get little nuts if it does pull back. You do have a gap here to the downside. You can do the gap harmonics on that. That would roughly be a close below about 295.55. Then I'd be targeting the gap fill on that. Until that, it's just back to key support. Targets the upside are still 303.77, 306.45. And you do have this gap here from back at May 6th, which is to the close, remember, not to the bottom. That's the open. To the close would be 309.40. So there's your upper and level. So if that's your key levels on this. The DAX, we do have this sloppy double right here. Close below 13,380, 13,817, 13,781, 13,744, and that's virtually two. Then we'll target a gap fill. Longer term, remember I'm watching. We so far have the reversal at the upper channel. If it does break out, my next little minor level is 14,172. But in the DAX, you already have the daily looking like it could be rolling over shortly. So I'm more focused on the downside. Crude still watching little pullback move right here, but bouncing back quickly. And even with those horrible numbers out of China, crude holding up very, very well. So I'm watching on a breakout play 1368 and 113.68, then 116 area. By the way, futures edge with Jim Iorio will get posted. I will be posting that on the YouTube channels this morning. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, stay tuned throughout your trading day. Might be something you want to tune into once the markets slow down and listen to and watch on YouTube. Gold, starting the key watch for this bottoming pattern, but you have major overhead resistance, 16,838. That's my target to the upside. And silver finally trying to get a bottom, but my key area is now about 2165. Watching for a little stall there, possible pullback, then another longer term play. The notes, remember, I'm watching this to be a longer term bottom. Holding up pretty well, but once we get above 120.02, we'll watch for that's right where the weekly rotation zone, and then we're into an advanced clear path move with not a lot of stopping points, potentially back to about 123 area. Dollar index, we triggered this double and trying to break down. So far, just moving sideways and rolling over slightly. So I'm focused on 104.33, 104.23, 104.12.5 for the bigger pullback pattern. And it is looking like we could get a 4-hour close below that rotation zone, which then we start watching for the bigger pullback on the daily. And the double takes us back to the rising rotation zone on the daily. Tesla, slight gap down, but not much to talk about. Not really anything's changed. The key area I'm still watching is 750. Close below 750. I'm then targeting the gap fill. For the breakout play, again, this is still going to be, with the Elon, the Twitter saga, and everything else. So if somebody tweets something out about that, we'll see. 787 is the breakout play, but you're into this major resistance, so that's just a short term, and you have the rising daily overhead at about 800. So on any breakout play, the target would be 800. I know we had a question about Amazon. Amazon rising into the daily, pulled back slightly on the on where it looks like a very slight gap down. The only time I get concerned about Amazon, we still have a gap down here right below the 50% harmonic, but we also have a gap fill up. So what I'm watching for is if the market does find some strength and some buying into the open, you break above Friday's high at 2261.45. I'm watching for a gap fill play. The gap fill play is up to this close. See, it nearly closed it to the open, but not to the close. So the close would be 2295.98. How does that look with a harmonic with this pausing area? Let's actually pull it back. We got the pausing bar technically here. So that takes us to 2301. So 2298 to 2301 would be my full target area on a breakout play with a minor stop raise 2275. Where you don't want to see it drop back below is I'd be keying off the 37.5% harmonic. Why there? Because it's also this resistance becoming support, and that would take us back below the 1 hour rotation zone. And you see here, even it's into the 4 hour rotation zone, so it can fill that gap and not even hit the other side of the 4 hour rotation zone. And the daily is right at that first target, so there still is some overhead resistance, but it could easily pop, fill that gap, and then turn lower. So I don't have a long-term great play on Amazon, I have a short-term play. Wavy with the Williams expeditiously raising rates to more normal levels. Another drop. Waka, you just are super bearish. You're even more bearish than I am. Not seeing signs of market dysfunction in the treasury markets. Well, there's not market dysfunction. It's just volatile for the treasury markets. Events in China and the war in Ukraine are major drivers of market volatility. And your own your own tightening and financial tightening conditions. Plans to reduce the balance sheet is having an effect on longer term interest rates. Duh. We need to get real interest rates back to zero. Yes, you do. You need to get them actually above zero. My expectation is inflation will be coming down quite a bit next year. Next year, see, that's, wow. That's interesting. 50 basis point rate hikes make sense at the upcoming meetings, so that's their baseline. All this mess in the markets and no Q2. Well, they were targeting on quantitative tightening in June. We're not to June yet, Waka. You gotta get. They do baby steps. Baby steps. Remember from the movie. What about Bob? Baby steps. I wouldn't call them fake moves. They're just quick reversal moves. Remember, in these kind of markets, anything can shift things. Now, at least there's no more Fed speaking today. So into the open, which I got to prepare for, we should be able to get some decent moves. Again, thank you for the super chat. Rams to fall again. Tomorrow going to be bad. I think you look through everything one lens right now. Volatility to the max. We could get volatility to the max. Belated happy birthday to see a potential reversal. Head and shoulders on ZB futures. Let's take a look. The 30 years. There is a potential. We need this shoulder to play out a little better, but then there is a potential. See, I don't update my 30 years on this platform that much. But we do have shoulder, head. If this is a nice shoulder, yes. Remind me at the end of the day, we can see how this plays out. But yes, you would. If this gets a nice shoulder in here, you would have a potential reversal, and we can map that out later. Netflix gapping up. I still do like Netflix. We covered that yesterday. I still like Netflix on a little pop play higher still. So I am watching that, and I gave the levels on that yesterday. Good morning, Lauren. Real waves will be going to 8%. They're talking trash. Oh boy, if they could get those to 8%, you're going to see. You might see your lower price targets than Waka. Yes, China news did break the overnight trades. Looks very bearish. I'm not thinking it's looking very bearish. I'm more focused on a pullback into the open. What about Bob? Wow, haven't heard that Bill Murray project referred to in a while. Richard Dreyfuss was as funny as Murray in that one. Yes. And I love that movie. That was hysterical. So that's going to put a smile on my face going into the open. NASDAQ off about 52 basis points. S&P only off 40 basis points. So don't get, we have the plays for the bearish pullback. My advice is don't get overly bearish until these things trigger, because I'm going to be watching. And then if you want to try to front run it, if it breaks down, watch for a retest and a rollover. That's what I will be doing. Everybody, again, yes, trade well. I will be back if we have something major. I will do a lunchtime. If it's just normal, even volatile price action, there's nothing major. Like if we don't get Waka with Waka's Black Monday, don't expect me to show up at lunch, but I will be here after the close. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, happy Black Monday. Got to keep the bearish. You, Waka. All right, I'll talk to everyone later.